Hey guys, James Reeves with tfbtv. Today we are at the best range in the entire world, that is Knoll Attack here in New Orleans, Louisiana, and we are talking about pistol caliber carbines versus pistols. So right now, everybody in the audience, you, are split up a third, a third, a third. A third of you are like, okay, this is going to be really interesting. I'm curious to see what this guy thinks about a pistol versus a pistol caliber carbine. A third of you are like, wow, this is the dumbest idea for a video I've ever heard. Clearly, the pistol caliber carbine is superior to the pistol. Why does this need to be a video? And I would agree with you. But then you have another third, and I know that they exist because a lot of them are in my comments who are now saying, look, since you can shoulder a brace, why do I need a pistol caliber carbine anymore? Why don't I just use a pistol? In fact, especially with a gun like this is a SIG MPX-k and it only has a teensy little 4-inch barrel. Isn't it cute? I love this gun. This is one of my most favorite guns, but the thing is, a lot of people are saying, look, 4-inch barrel, and especially like this with a 20-round magazine, why don't you just use a Glock 17 in 9mm, the same caliber, that has a barrel that's longer than 4 inches and can take 33-round magazines? A lot of people say that. They're like, what is the point of the pistol caliber carbine? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So in that corner, we've got the SIG MPX-k. In this corner, we've got a Glock 17 with a Flux brace. So a lot of people are looking at this saying, look, this is a lot smaller package. Flux even packages this gun with a holster, and you can actually carry this gun inside or outside the waistband and conceal it, believe it or not. This brace is so small, and it's on a Glock 17. I believe you can put it on a Glock 19 too. And a lot of people are going to say, look, you're getting the same performance out of this gun as you would out of the MPX-k. But is that really true? So this is basically a Glock 17 with an easy to deploy stock. You can get it with the MOS cuts or a gun that's optic ready, and you can mount optics. You can put a flashlight or a laser or a light laser combo under the accessory rail here. This one comes with 3-dot night sights. It's lightweight. You can take magazines from 17 all the way up to 33 or even bigger magazines if you've got a drum. So a lot of people out there are saying, at this point, why wouldn't I just want this instead of a big bulky pistol caliber carbine with a 4-inch barrel? And that's a fair question, so let's talk about it. Psst, spoiler alert, this MPX is gonna put that Glock 17 on that stretcher back there. Sights and recoil mitigation is a huge factor that plays in favor of the pistol caliber carbine. You can see the sight radius on this MPX is substantially longer than the sight radius on the Glock 17. And you have better sights. These peep sights are just going to be better. These are the Magpul M-Bus peep sights. They're just going to be better than the 3-dot sights on the Glock 17. Not to mention, your Glock 17 sights, they're moving whenever you fire. With the MPX or any pistol caliber carbine, your sights are fixed in place. So you don't have to worry about frantically searching for your front sight every single time you fire like you do on a pistol. And that's going to apply if you're using optics as well. If you're using a pistol, your optic is going to be bouncing around as you fire the gun. With a pistol caliber carbine, not the case. It's going to be fixed in place. It's going to be a lot easier to keep your sight picture. I've also got to mention, on the Flux brace, you're kind of looking over your sights if you're shouldering it. I mean, if you're putting it on your cheek, which I do not want to do, then you're looking down your slide and you can see your sights just as if you were firing a regular pistol. If you shoulder it, even when you shoulder it up high, you got to get really low to look down your sights. Otherwise, you're kind of looking over them. But surprisingly, it's still pretty effective. In fact, I think I can shoot this thing better than shooting two-handed with a conventional pistol stance. So I was actually surprised at the accuracy, but again, between the sights moving back and forth on this Glock and recoil mitigation, that is a huge factor. Is this gun a lot lighter? Yes, this is a lot lighter than the MPX as far as the total package goes. However, the MPX really soaks up that recoil, and man, you can just shoot that thing like a laser, especially with 9mm. There's virtually no recoil. You still get a little bit of an unpleasant pop. This is really lightweight, doesn't soak up the recoil as well, and if you'll notice, look, you really have to get on this thing. This is a very short stock. And you're moving around. When you shoot it, it's definitely jostling more than, say, the MPX. Yeah, you just can't do it. Not even close. Too much recoil, hard to find your front sights and stay on target as opposed to a PCC like the MPX. What about capacity? Well, with the Glock, you have a lot of options in terms of capacity. This is the 33 round factory stick mag. And with the MPX, you have a 30 round factory magazine. That works great. It's made by Lancer. They're fantastic magazines, but these cost $50 to $70 versus the Glock mags, which you can get for about $30. Plus you have options from Glock and from Magpul for everything from 17 rounds to 33 rounds. All excellent, reliable magazines that are inexpensive. So capacity, it's a tie on paper, but really at the very end of the day, especially if you're bracing a Glock, you're going to be coming out ahead, at least purchasing your Glock pistol magazines versus a pistol caliber carbine that uses proprietary mags. Let's talk about another factor, concealability. The Flux comes with a holster, and you can kinda almost, well, obviously not with a 33 round mag, but you can kinda almost conceal this thing under your shirt. How's that look? I don't know. Wearing my size medium shirt, who knows, but it's definitely lower profile than trying to use an MPX under your shirt. Deployment of the stock's pretty quick. You guys see that? It's really neat. It's like the spring-loaded job right here. You just press this lever, shicks out like that. It's pretty cool, like a switchblade, but a gun, so it's better. Now at this point, I'm probably splitting hairs here. This isn't that big of a deal, but one thing that's really cool is deployment. Of course, you can shoot the SIG MPX without deploying the stock, but you're gonna be shooting from the hip, probably not gonna be as accurate. At least with a brace like the Flux, you can still see your sights with the brace all the way in. So if you had to, if you didn't have time to deploy, you can still come out. And then when you're ready, deploy and then shoulder up. So that's kind of a neat plus. I mean, again, it's not like it's going to be that big of a deal with the, say, a braced pistol versus something like the MPX or the MP5, which are still really quick to deploy, and shooting from the hip isn't all that bad if you don't have time to deploy your stock or even holding it up. It isn't like it's going to be that much less accurate than with a pistol, but that's one thing kind of still in the pistol's favor. With your pistol caliber carbine, you're gonna have two options to charge the gun, just like with your handgun. You can use the charging handle, or you can use the bolt release on the left-hand side or on this MPX on the right-hand side of the gun. Compare that to a brace pistol, rack the slide, or use with the Glock 17, the ambi slide release. So you're really not getting much of a benefit out of the MPX versus, say, this Flux-equipped Glock 17 in terms of charging. Either is gonna be just as fast. So yes, you can charge with the Flux brace on. They have wisely made it so there's a little channel here. The slide just rides right over it, and there's just enough clearance here between the back plate and the slide to allow you to rack it and charge the gun. Now, as far as using it as a brace, I guess they say that you can use it like against your hand there or your arm, whatever. You know, I don't know how that works. I would just as soon just shoot it with two hands and probably do so just as accurately. Another thing I've seen is they're doing like a thing where like they got it on their cheek or something like this. Ow! 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 All right, that was fun. Let's finish up this discussion now on the pistol caliber carbine, like a dedicated subgun versus a braced pistol. Before I tell you guys why, and I think you know where this is going, I think a pistol caliber carbine or an SMG is a much better option than a braced pistol. Let me brag on the Flux first, because it's gonna sound a little bit like I'm crapping on the Flux or I'm crapping on braces in general when I'm really not. First, this never is gonna get old. Literally, that will never get old. I think this is one of the most important pistol accessories that has come out. This is a really good brace. It works very well. I mean, brace, shoulder stock, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's technically a brace and it works well for shouldering it. Very compact. You can actually conceal this thing, which to me is nuts. Deployment's great on it. The install is really easy. That's one thing that I think gets overlooked. The install is really easy. All you do is just knock the rear grip pin out of your Glock and then pop this thing on with a new pin and it's on there. You obviously are going to be a lot more effective at longer distances with your pistol with this Flux brace than without it. So I think honestly, this is one of the most important firearms accessories that's come out in a long time. And I am personally really stoked for it. I don't want anyone to mistake my being pro SMG or pro PCC to mean that I don't like the Flux. There are a lot of really, really bad braces out there and bad Glock 17 pistol conversions and Glock carbine kits. There are a lot of bad examples out there. The Flux is not one of them. In fact, if I had to go with one, this would be it. Flux didn't pay me to say that. In fact, they didn't even reach out to me. I reached out to them and said, hey, look, can I get a loaner copy? And that was like probably 3 months ago. So I think they've just totally given up on me. They think that this video is probably never gonna come out and they're probably too afraid to be like, oh, hey man, can we ask for our brace back? Because they think I'm gonna leave them a crap review or something. No, awesome product. But time to go over the reasons why a pistol caliber carbine is better than a braced pistol. I went over them in the video, but I jotted them down. I like to jot some notes down whenever I'm out at the range. I'm like, oh yeah, I just thought of that. I better jot that down. So let's talk about it. Capacity. As I said, it's kind of a draw between a pistol caliber carbine and a braced pistol. At this point, there's no real capacity difference between a pistol caliber carbine or a braced pistol. Sights and optics. This is one that goes hands down in the PCC camp. Not only do you have more options in terms of mounting optics than you do over a pistol, but you don't have your optic bouncing around whenever you're firing. Bear in mind, I understand you have options like those mounts that you have that mount under your dust cover, like on your rail, and then they kind of free float, for lack of a better term, over the slide and they're not moving around. Yes, there are ways around it, but then now you're working more towards it being a pistol caliber carbine and not really a pistol. A true braced pistol, you're gonna have iron sights that are going to have a shorter sight radius, or you're going to have fewer mounting options, or if you do have a red dot sight, it's not going to be as good. Like say something like an RMR, I would say is not going to be as good as like an EOTech or an aim point that you would have in a pistol caliber carbine. And with your iron sights, you're going to have a longer sight radius and better sights. That's all there is to it. The ability to mount accessories, again, the edge goes to the pistol caliber carbine. Quad rail, M-lock, what do you want? You can have it with a pistol caliber carbine. Now, you can mount just about everything you need under the dust cover of a pistol. I mean, what else are you gonna need for something that size other than a light and a laser? Get a light laser combo and you're good to go. So that's not really a huge point in favor of the pistol caliber carbine, but it is nice to be able to add a VFG, have your light on one side, have a laser or whatever else you might need on the other side, sling mount, whatever the case may be. You have more mounting accessories with the PCC, so that is, yes, another point for the SMG. Ergonomics, PCC, SMG, gonna beat your ass all day long, pistol brace. But is that really up for debate? Again, vertical foregrip options. You don't have to hold both of your hands. I mean, you can mount a vertical foregrip. Yeah, you can mount a vertical foregrip on a Glock, or look up like Glock 18 guy shoots handoff. Look those videos up. In fact, if you look at my personal YouTube account, there might be a video way back when I was shooting a Glock 18 that had a vertical foregrip mounted under the dust cover, and it snapped off. Thank God I didn't shoot my hand off because I'm not an idiot, but there are plenty of those guys out there on YouTube. But I digress a little bit. You've got more grip options typically with pistol caliber carbines. You've got the ability to get that support hand out in front of where your dominant hand is, vertical foregrip, be able to grip the hand guard, whatever the case may be. You're gonna have better options for controls like a charging handle, ambi mag release, bolt release, whatever the case may be. You're just gonna have better ergos, hands down, with a PCC or a submachine gun. And recoil mitigation, again, we talked about, that is a huge point in favor of the PCC SMG. You're going to have less recoil. So that necessarily leads into a discussion about accuracy. And you're just going to have better accuracy, better speed with a pistol caliber carbine versus a braced pistol. So in my opinion, that makes the SMG or the PCC simply more effective than a braced pistol. Because you've got better ergos, because you've got more stability, because you have better optics mounting options, you're just going to perform better with a PCC or SMG over a braced pistol, no matter what all the braced pistol fans say. So what is the braced pistol good for, if anything? Well, it's not going to be as effective as a PCC or an SMG. It's simply not. However, it does shine in a few areas. The first one, probably the least important of all of them, is price. They're typically cheaper. I think that SIG MPX-k would probably set you back $2,000, while you're going to pay like a few $100 for a Glock and a simple stock mounting device or something awesome like the Flux. You're gonna be in for under $1,000. I don't know how much testicles are worth, but I would imagine that a testicle is worth more than like the $3,000 or $4,000 it would cost you to get like a nice MP5 clone or like an MP5 by a professional builder with an HK parts kit. Do I know that for sure? No, I do not. Am I curious? Yes, I am. If you know the answer, please opine. But I guess I would sell a testicle for like $10,000 to $15,000. What were we talking about again in this video? Oh yeah, okay. Another way pistol braces are better, concealability. You saw that in the video. Pretty nuts, no pun intended, that I can take a braced pistol with the Flux, a very effective brace at that, not like some crappy paper clip. Like that thing's pretty substantial. And I can conceal that with shorts and a t-shirt. I think that's dope. Speed of deployment, as I mentioned in the video, if you need to get out and just start shooting, you don't even have that split second to deploy and shoulder that stock. I think that's a lot easier with the lighter pistol. And I think that the spring-loaded stock, especially in the Flux, is gonna deploy faster than most methods of deploying a stock on an SMG or a PCC. But I guess that also highlights the last point in favor of the braced pistol, and that would be weight. These things, not only are they smaller, but they're lighter, easier to deploy, easier to conceal, but lighter. They're gonna be a lot lighter, like a Glock 17 with the Flux brace hanging off of it. I mean, that's gonna weigh 3 pounds maybe. So I suppose to summarize the difference between a PCC SMG and the braced pistol, if you're looking for something extremely small, concealable, but almost as effective as a PCC or a submachine gun, a braced pistol might be for you. Or if you're just looking for something cheap, that also works. If you want something that's effective, the most effective thing that you can get to fire a pistol caliber round for whatever reason, then you're gonna have to go PCC SMG. Either way, they're great options and guns are fun. Guys, I wanna say thanks a ton to our sponsors, Blue Alpha Gear. They make the absolute best belts on planet Earth. And I also wanna say thank you to Ventura Munitions, who supplied all the ammo that we used in this video. Could not do it without you guys. Couldn't do it without you subscribers, viewers, and most importantly, our Patreon supporters. Guys, consider helping us out at patreon.com/tfbtv if you enjoyed this video. I'm out of here. Thanks a ton.